Hello, friends, and hello, world. Al Iverson here. It's time for another one of your email authentication and deliverability questions answered. What are we going to answer today? What can go wrong with your DMARC record? Man, we help a lot of people set up DMARC, and our automation takes care of the little nitty-gritty bits that a lot of people do it themselves, typing and pasting in DNS records and registrar DNS tools and control panels. But when you do that yourself, you run into the opportunity for a lot of different things to go wrong. Here's a few of the things that I've run into just looking at, for example, my top 10 million domains data set. Things that we see that people do wrong all the time. Publishing more than one DMARC record, right? You can only have one for that organizational domain, that the highest level of the domain. Oops, didn't put underscore DMARC in the host field. Means the DNS record's at the wrong level in DNS. It's not going to be found. Forgot to start the DNS record with v equals DMARC1. Typoed the reporting address. Typoed the policy. Both maybe because of a language barrier or because of an actual typo, right? And when I look at a lot of these records, a lot of people will put reject or none or whatever in their local language instead of remembering that these records, the descriptions here, the descriptive text is very specific and has to be in English. Or making up a policy that doesn't exist. P equals policy is one of my favorite ones. Directing reports to the wrong domain, or directing reports to a fake or demo domain. There are a few demo domains out there that Microsoft and Google and others have put for examples, both for when you're creating a DMARC record and doing something else, but they're not real domains. People copy and paste them exactly, and they end up with a fake domain in their DMARC record. Examples of this, of course, are example.com. Gmail has the Solar Mora one that's specific to their DMARC examples. It's one of their specific example domains used for a lot of different stuff when talking about email and giving an example of how to configure MX records, DNS records, text records, what have you. Contoso.com is the same thing, but it's for Microsoft. Again, these are demo domains. They're not real. They should never show up in a DMARC record. And then you've got your webmail domains too, like Gmail, Hotmail, Outlook.com. Those aren't really set up to be recipients of DMARC reports. There's this whole thing called external domain verification, where a domain has to be set up to be able to accept DMARC records for a domain. We've got to publish a DNS record that says that. And the big webmail providers are clearly not doing that. That's not something they intend to do. Now, bad policies, the P equals field. People put lots of silly stuff in that P equals field, right? When really you're only supposed to put none, quarantine, or reject. And even I would question whether or not none is a good policy, right? It doesn't protect your domain. That's where quarantine and reject are much better from a domain protection perspective. Bad policies. People put P equals policy. People put P equals all. People put P equals BRAC. That amuses me for some reason. I assume it's some non-English word. People put P equals beleidesnaam. That's Dutch for policy, I think. Kind of eject and so on. Different variations on the reject. Report is not a policy type. These are things that should never be showing up in the P or SP fields in your DMARC record. How many domains out there have bad records? Now, in the top 10 million domains, the number is pretty small, right? Here, specifically with a bad policy, from what I can tell, there's 2,500 odd, 2,600, whatever that is, total there. But the big one there is there's 1,600, almost 1,700 domains that don't have a policy set at all. Why are you even publishing a DMARC record? You're not setting it up to be parsed properly or even protected. Bad policy, or even P equals policy. There's more than 300 domains that I found where people literally typed in P equals policy as their DMARC policy. Again, remember that is not a real policy. Fake domains or wrong domains. There's a lot of those. A ton of people, 10,000 people, put gmail.com as their reporting address in their DMARC record. They might get some reports from some domains that don't check for external domain verification, but many of them do as well, though. So they're not going to get every possible DMARC report that they expect to. By the spec, they shouldn't be getting it all. And then you've got these example domains, right? Example.com, solarmora.com, contoso.com. Those should never, ever, ever show up in a DMARC record. They're not real, right? More than 1,000 people put example.com in their DMARC record. Here's newsflash for you. Example.com is not accepting DMARC reports for you. And that's okay. You know, when you do it yourself, you sometimes you copy and paste something exactly from an example. I've done it myself. I'm guilty of it. It's part of the learning curve for DMARC. But that's also where vendors like Valimail are really important to help people who need help, who need that guidance to set up DMARC properly so that they don't have problems like that. They don't publish an incorrect DMARC record, don't publish a policy that doesn't exist. If you need that help, if you need somebody to guide you through the DMARC process to help protect your domain against phishing and spoofing, that's us. That's us here at Valimail. We are the DMARC experts. Visit our website at valimail.com for more information. And if you have any follow-up questions that might make for a good video, please drop me an email at al.iverson@valimail.com. Thanks. Have a great day.